You nailed it. Thanks for doing that. You're so good at this. I feel like you are like made for this. It's so good.
Meanwhile, I'm like, bore me with contracts, especially
Yeah.
because I know so many people listening to this right now don't have deals. It's like, what is just something that they can keep in mind as they're continuing on their journey? Hey everyone, and welcome back to the So Rude podcast. My name is Paige Ruderman, and today I am so excited to welcome a special guest to the show. Country singer-songwriter and touring artist Delaney Ann is an eighth generation Texan with songs true to her roots. She first signed to Synapse Publishing and Entertainment LLC as a songwriter in 2022 and continued this partnership by signing a record deal in 2023. Known for her viral single, This Ain't Country Club, reaching 500,000 hits on TikTok and reaching number 63 on the Music Row chart, you might have also seen her performing all over Nashville, Texas, and other music cities. Delaney learned to play guitar at age 9 and began performing at age 10, later becoming a regular performer at Disneyland. She then released her debut EP, Fingers Crossed, at 13, which opened the door for national performances. Since then, Delaney has gone on to pen over 300 songs to date at the young age of 24, and even opened for country acts such as Dwight Yoakam and Lucas Nelson. We met living in Nashville, and I'm so excited to delve into Delaney's journey, her creative process, and what's next for this rising country star. Delaney, thank you so much for coming on the So Rude podcast.
Yay. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time. How are things going? How's your day going so far?
Good. Day's been good. Day's been crazy. My neighbor today found a dog on the street eating trash and
Oh,
brought that dog in, and I'm taking care of that dog until it can find a foster home. And so my day's been kind of crazy, but we love the puppies, so it's all good.
oh my goodness. Well, that's kind of you to take the time. And I know you have a dog of your own. Are they getting along?
I do. I do. My dog's also a rescue, so I haven't really introduced them yet. I'm just kind of keeping them separate. So it's a whole thing. But yeah, they're doing okay. They're doing okay.
That does make for a crazy day.
For sure.
So I know I shared a little bit about you and your background, but can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, grew up doing music, and I think that's something really unique to my journey was getting a really early start on it. It's been a blessing and maybe it's sometimes a disadvantage in certain ways just because you always feel like you're trying to catch up. But I feel like just now I'm starting kind of this new era. It always feels fresh and new when you're writing new things and doing new things. So I'm so grateful to be on the journey I'm on and can't wait to tell you more about it.
Yeah. And I love that you shared that you started young and how that helped craft your journey. Starting guitar at 9 years old, how did that even happen? Like, did someone else in your family play music? Or, like, how did you find the guitar and start from there?
Yeah, so my dad was gifted a guitar by his aunt in the 70s or 80s, and he always said he was going to learn how to play, just never did, but kept that guitar around. I think he maybe knew like a G chord, like that's
Yeah.
it, like he knew like G and he would show it off at parties. But yeah, I found his old guitar and dusted it off, and there was the book, those like chord books. Now everything's online. But back in the day, there was like books of just how to play chords. And so I like opened this book and I was learning, oh, D and A and E minor. And I learned four chords. And then I realized those four chords could play a lot of songs, almost every country song.
Yeah.
So I just started playing and playing, and then eventually wrote my own songs, which just it almost happened naturally. It was like fate.
Yeah. You were meant to find the guitar. It's almost like your dad picked it up and just kind of kept it for you.
Yes, yes. And I'm now trying to teach him a little bit. And every time I see him, he's like, watch this. I can switch faster. It's funny.
Oh, I love that. And now you guys can bond over it. It's something you can do together.
For sure. Yeah, but it was definitely it felt like fate finding that guitar, and I'm every day so grateful that I did.
So you're originally from Texas. What is it like growing up there, an eighth generation Texan? So you have family roots that stretch back in the Texas area. What was it like growing up there? What's the music scene like out there?
Yeah, yeah. So I actually grew up moving a ton, which as a kid, can be difficult. But the thing that always grounded me was no matter where we moved, we always had our family farm in Texas, and all my family was always in Texas. So it always felt like, even if I didn't feel like I had a hometown, I always felt like I had a home. And it's a little tiny middle of nowhere outside College Station tiny town called Shiro, which my dog is now named after. My dog's name is Shiro. So
Oh,
it's definitely deep in my roots. Both my grandparents on both sides have cattle, and I grew up watching them and knowing what a real cowboy is. And I'm always going to be so grateful just for that deep rooted tradition that's in my family, just of livestock and living life on the land and taking care of the land is something that is, I didn't get it as a kid, but the older I get, the more I understand it.
totally. And I'll admit, I grew up in Delaware, so nowhere
Yeah,
near Texas or the
that's
South.
okay. Yeah.
However, I can definitely imagine, especially I can't wait to chat about you as an artist as well. But as you continue down the music path, it's probably really nice to have that kind of real people, real life thing. It almost grounds you a little bit.
100%. It is so, so grounding. And I'm just really grateful for the experience. A lot of people I know want that experience growing up and wish that they were able to grow up around that. So I'm just feel very blessed and fortunate to have family kind of in that world.
So can you actually ride a horse? Is that like a thing
I
everyone in
can.
Texas knows how to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I can ride a horse. We don't have any horses right now. We just have good old cows, but I did grow up riding and loved riding horses. But it's an expensive hobby. Expensive hobby. And I do love horses. Right now we have horses come out if we need to like work the cattle. But yeah, it's definitely something I've thought about getting back into because horses are the best.
Yeah,
The
they're
best.
so gentle and like nurturing.
Yes, 100%.
So, you and we actually met when you were living in Nashville. So, growing up in Texas, spending time there, then you came to Nashville. Like, what brought you to Nashville and what was the experience like spending time here?
So I always say it is the coolest thing because I grew up doing music and I always wanted to move to Nashville. College came around and I kind of was like stuck between do I want to go to Texas A&M where all my family has gone and I loved it and it was this I was born in a maroon onesie, I swear. Like it was the thing to do. I had no other choice. Like I would tell my parents, like, hey, I might apply here. And they'd be like, okay, like it just wasn't the thing. But Belmont, I had always seen Belmont growing up. I just wasn't sure which path to take. And I'm so grateful I ended up going to A&M because the Aggie network is so real and it's in my blood. I'm a fourth generation Texas A&M grad. So it's very, very deep in my roots. And I ended up meeting my husband there. That was amazing, amazing timing. But, he had this dream of being in the military. And I kind of knew, wow, that's going to be tough for the country music thing. So
Yeah.
I felt this calling to, be with him and support his dream and said, maybe one day I'll get to do the Nashville thing, but who knows when that'll be. So we did the military thing and a year later the army said you're going to go right outside Nashville and we were like wow, what are the odds? There's no such thing as coincidences that he gets to do his dream and I get to pursue mine at the same time. So that was really, really cool and got to be there a couple years and make great connections. And I was writing, a couple times a week, every single week, teaching part time. And yeah, the network kept growing and eventually that's how I got to sign my deal and everything. So I mean, God definitely had a plan through the whole thing. I mean, I look back and I'm like, all these things had to line up so perfectly. So pretty crazy.
That is so crazy. And it's so funny to hear even learning the guitar. It's because like this other action happened. Dad
Yeah,
picked up the guitar. It was in the house. It was accessible.
right.
That helped learning. And I think that just goes to show like when you make a decision because you're like, this is the right decision at the time, supporting my husband,
Totally.
it's almost like life comes back to reward you. It's like you will get yours too.
Totally. Yeah, I truly believe none of those things were just like coincidental, accidental. It happened all too perfectly.
Oh my goodness. We are going to dive into signing your first deal as a writer and how that evolved. The thing I would love to chat about is you as an artist and
Yeah.
digging into that. So, one thing I can say about being I'm truly a fan of your songs. Like I'm just like I love them. They're super fun. You have such a heartfelt, emotional, storytelling, beautiful voice. Like you're welcome. What type of artists did you listen to growing up? What type of artists inspired you? I'd love to learn more about like how you found your sound.
Thank you. Oh, that is so nice of you. Yeah, my mom is truly Tanya Tucker's biggest fan, like genuinely in the whole world. So I grew up on a lot of Tanya, and then of course some T Swift, as we all did, and she's pop now, and I will support her till the day I die.
Same
But
girlfriend.
yeah, but those country songs that she started with, I think I was just most inspired by the vulnerability and the way she named names. You just really felt like you were reading her diary. Yeah, I mean, I remember, did you ever have like her little album cover booklets?
So no, I was unfortunately one of those people that ripped it
Later.
off of, LimeWire or whatever.
Oh, yep. I was there too. That's okay. So we support it all. So she in her little album booklet, she had like she would capitalize certain letters and they would spell out a message. Yeah, so iconic, so iconic. And I think I was just inspired by her creativity in every aspect of her business. Like she is not just like singular. Like she is so multifaceted as an artist in every single way. She does something different and cool. And I'm continually inspired by that. Yeah. And also, of course, listening to Dolly and now today I'm very inspired by Texas artists like Caitlin Butts is huge and Kat Hasty is doing some awesome things and a lot of up and coming Texas girls on the scene are just doing some really cool stuff that I love. So, yeah, I think I'm just always trying to grow and learn and continue to be inspired by the great people before me.
Totally. And they say like great art inspires art. So by being a fan of other people's, you get to develop your own taste and then you get to use that to help create your own stuff.
Totally. 100%. Yeah.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a country artist?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think there was, I mean, I may have at 16 been like, I'm going to be kind of like a little more ballady singer-songwritery, but I never strayed into the like, I'm going to be like this Katy Perry. It just never was in me. I was always just kind of like, I'm from Texas and this is what I am. And, country at the end of the day, it's storytelling. And I think that's what's in my heart and soul is wanting to tell a story. So.
I think that reflects too in your own songs that you've released, your own artistry, that the lyrics are always so good. Is that one of your favorite parts of the process? Is it the writing the lyrics? Is it recording? Is it the performing? Like what's kind of like your favorite if you have one?
Yeah, it's the song. It's always going to be the song for me. It's that magical, and you know it as a songwriter, that just magical moment that you just grab onto, and it's just there's nothing like it in the world. Just that inspiration hits, and yeah, it's almost as if the song writes itself sometimes. And I think those are my favorite moments when you're like, this song was always meant to have existed and I got to be a part of it is kind of how it feels to me in the process. So yeah, it's gonna be the songwriting for me every day forever. That's what I love. And vocally I moved to Nashville saying I just want to be a songwriter. I was
Really?
like, I was like, I want other people to sing my songs. I'm a storyteller. I know that's what I do. That's what I do well. And it was actually my vocal coach that completely shifted my perspective and was like, you deserve to be the one telling these stories too. Because I was kind of using it as a mask to just say, like, my voice isn't good enough to tell these stories. I told her, I want help just enough. I want to be good enough to tell my stories at writers' rounds and get my story across in my songs. But she helped me so much, not only vocally and just like singing better, but she helped me mentally see that I was trying to hide behind the guitar and hide behind the lyrics. And she helped me completely flip that mentality and find what I loved in my voice that was unique, because I'm never going to be the crazy range